All right. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? How's it going? I hope your week's going well. I am Is There No One Else? And the video I'm bringing you today, I wanted to go over the D-swing changes. I've been playing the new patch on Xbox for a little over a week now, or about a week. Been really trying to figure out what spamble I want to use. Been trying the D-swing changes. Have gotten, very polarizing opinions on what D-swing is. Some people think it's really good, some people think it's terrible, and they're looking at other options. And I wanted to provide my feedback after playing it with it for a week. Sometimes our opinions change, and yeah, that's what this video is going to be. So this is going to be pretty all-inclusive, guys. Maybe skip to the end if you want the final results, but I wanted to go through the micro changes and the macro changes, and what makes this skill good, what makes it bad, whatever. So with that being said, guys, let's dive into the video. Now, as you guys know, in Dragonhold, they have nerfed D-swing by 15%, according to the, with the PTS changes. So they nerfed the overall damage by 15%, while also giving it off balance and taking away the stun. Now, coming from a guy that, I've only recently started using D-swing, probably in like the last 6 months or so, because I've always hated the skill. Decided to get used to it because I wanted to play other classes, and D-swing is one of the more... it's one of the better spam... It's traditionally been one of the better spambles, even though it's had issues. I've never been a big D-swing fan. With that being said, guys, there's nothing more satisfying than doing the D-swing dunk combination. As a DK. You dizzying swing somebody, you CC them up in the air, and then you just drag and leap the shit out of them, and you're literally just like that. You're the Womp guy in Mario, like Super Mario Brothers, where he just smashes Mario flat as a pancake. That's basically what you do to people, and it feels fucking fantastic every time you do it. So this change is huge, just from a stylistic standpoint. A lot of people do not like the change stylistically because you don't get to pull off the dunk anymore. And it's not just the DK dunk, it's D-swing Dawnbreaker, D-swing onslaught. There is something satisfying about the CC, putting somebody in the air and then just knowing you're going to delete their entire health bar. So I get that. So I wanted to cover the aesthetics as well. They also buffed the damage on D-swing from elsewhere to Scalebreaker. And so they buffed it by 10%, if I remember correctly, and they reduced the cast time from 1 second to 0.8 seconds. So they gave it a pretty big buff in Scalebreaker. And so to see them bring the damage back is a little surprising. I'm not going to lie, it's a little surprising to see them say, oh yeah, we need to buff it. And now they're looking at it, they're like, okay, yeah, this thing that we just buffed, we need to nerf it back farther than what it was before. And so there's some confusion on that end. And so wanted to, talk about all this, but if we dive into the skill, guys, and we just show what it does, off balance gives you 10% more damage if you have the exploiter passive in your CP tree. And so if you set somebody off balance, you do 10% more. And so for some builds, the overall nerf by 15% is actually only like 5%. Because like if you're a heavy armor sword and board build, you get this 10% buff by using this exploiter passive that you probably weren't getting before. The only build where this like severely impacts people are the people that were using this tactician passive. So when you use roll dodge to dodge an attack, you set the enemy off balance. So typically bow and 2H builds running D-swing, we're already getting the tactician passive to set people off balance. So they'd throw a bunch of points into physical weapon expert or shattering blows to get 120 points in here. And then with the off balance, the exploiter, they get 10% this way. And so with those specific builds, you actually are missing a decent amount of damage. Now, if you guys go back and you look at my Stamplar or my Templar build, or a video where I talk about off balance on them with their changes to channeled abilities, I show by reallocating into the CP tree, you can actually make some of that damage back. And so even people using the tactician passive, it's not a full 15% that they're losing because they're gaining essentially 48 points. You have to put 48 points into physical weapon expert or this combination here to get the tactician. If you put those 48 points into some combination of master at arms, mighty, piercing, or precise strikes like I have, you're going to hit harder on your D-swing and you're going to hit harder on your leap. And so are you going to hit as hard? No, of course not. But it's not the 15% that you think it is, because some of that offsets it. On top of that, guys, that's the micro level of the skill. And so a lot of people are looking at it just as how the skill functions, and they're like, wow, this skill is now garbage. They nerfed it by 15%. They took away the CC. I'm missing out on a lot of damage. I'm not going to be able to kill people the way I used to. Well, from a macro level, a grand scale, guys, they nerfed the dots in Scalebreaker or in Dragonhold by a lot. So Scalebreaker was all about dots and just all about cheesing people down. And so if you guys go watch my build videos from Scalebreaker, I'm on a Mag DK running 2 purge sets. I'm on a Magplar running a shit ton of recovery so I can have more purges. I'm on a Stam Necro with a lot of healing wearing Pariah. I'm wearing all these tankier setups. And so that's what I needed to survive, because the dots were essentially going to carry my damage on quite a few builds. In Dragonhold, that's not the case anymore. So you don't necessarily need to be super tanky in Dragonhold. So because of that, you can now wear 2 damage sets. And I'm going to post a video with a Stam DK PvP commentary sometime this week, probably tomorrow. But, this is the build that I've been running on my Stam DK all week, is Shieldbreaker, Bloodspawn, and Spriggans. So I have 2 damage sets. I have an infused bow, and I have 2-piece Bloodspawn, because Bloodspawn's amazing on a Stam DK. And so now I can wear 2 damage sets instead of wearing 1 damage set and 1 defensive set, like Pariah Shieldbreaker, which is my Stam Necro build from last patch. And so you start to see that although they did nerf the skill, you still get to make up a lot of the damage or surpass the damage in Scalebreaker because of the gear you get to wear. And so, yes, they did nerf the damage. They did reduce the damage. And so, if you're running the exact same build, you are going to see a difference. But you don't have to run the same build anymore. And so you see here, buffed with Rally, I have a 13k D-swing. Keep in mind this was Spriggans, guys. So I have a 14k D-swing with this build. If I hit with Poison Injection, it goes up to like 16, 17k. If I have continuous attack, it goes up to 18, 19k. I also have Minor Berserk on my front bar with Camel Hunter. So if this comes into play, with off balance, I have a 20k D-swing with this build, guys. And so my D-swing hits for about a 20k tooltip on the build editor. And so when you're looking at it, 20k tooltip on a D-swing is pretty damn good. And so, yes, they did nerf the damage, but, you can kill people with a 20k D-swing with Spriggans. Keep in mind I still have the pen with Spriggans. So, yeah, so the damage is still there. The damage is there from the aspect of allocating some of your CP in your CP tree and changing your gear sets. And so you still hit very hard with this build, or with this specific spammable. Now, we're going to get to the crux of it right now, but, the biggest issue is taking away the CC. And so you don't get that clean, D-swing, CC, and dunk. And so I am going to advocate that I actually like the current D-swing better than the old one. And the reason that is, guys, is because when somebody's off balance, anything more than a light attack will stun them and put them on the ground. And so D-swing is very predictable. We all know this. If I walk up to somebody and I start D-swinging at them, they can see it coming. And I've talked about it before in previous videos. If I see somebody winded up D-swings in front of my face, all I have to do is walk into them. If I walk inside of their body, like if this guy is winding up a D-swing on me, if I walk into his body, he's not going to be able to hit me. And so you can avoid it. If you see it coming, if you see the D-swing coming and you're at low health, you could just block it because it doesn't go through block. And so you have all these counters. It's also a single target ability, so you can dodge roll it because it's so predictable. What's less predictable, guys, and what's much faster is just a medium attack. And so you see here, this is all you need to do to set somebody off balance. So if I D-swing this guy and I go like that, I stun him and he's on the ground and he's executed. And so the stun now is faster. So if I need the stun, I can get it after they're off balance. On top of that, on top of, just, the ability for the stun to be a little bit quicker and easier to get off, it also allows me to get this done when I want to have it. And so I know you guys, even you, like, please, like, you D-swing fanatics, hear me out on this. Please just hear the entire thing I'm going to say, and if you object at the end of this, please comment in the section below, and I'll try and convince you some more. But as a D-swing build, I'm sure we have all fought those Magplars, right? We've all fought a Magplar or a Mag DK, and they're just a bit more chunky. They're one of those support builds, or they're just a tankier Mag DK. They're sitting around 30k health, or a Magplar and 30k health, and they're kind of tough to beat through. And so you're trying to just D-swing their health bar away, right? So you're just D-swinging, 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 and you're essentially hoping that on the CC, when you CC them, you do enough damage with your D-swing that you can then leap on them or drop your ult and drop them and execute. With the new D-swing, I don't have to choose when I want to CC. It doesn't choose for me. I get to choose it. And so if I D-swing this guy and I need to chunk him a few times, I can do that. And obviously their health bars are a little bit low, but let's say I need to do 2 or 3 D-swings to drop their health bar low enough. Well, after I set this guy off balance, I can now stun him and put him on the ground. So maybe, instead of the first D-swing, which puts them out like the old way, which would stun them and, like this, that I can now block and it's easily predictable, yada, yada, yada. I can just wind up 2 or 3, and if it puts them in execute range, I put them in a light attack on the ground, and now they're, stunned on the ground, and now I get to drop my execute or my leap or whatever. And so now, as a D-swing build, I get to choose when I want the CC to happen. It's still in the same way, you can still block it, but it's harder to block because it's a light attack now, a little bit more than a light attack instead of a wound up D-swing. On top of all of this, guys, on top of all of these bonuses, you also get the follow-up. When you deal damage with a fully charged heavy attack, your next direct damage attack used within 7 seconds deals an additional 10% damage. And so, what we can do against people, and it doesn't work against everybody. I mean, you're going to have to choose, how you go about doing it. It's just going to take some practice. But let's say somebody's chunky, like I said before. We're winding up our heavy attack. We're doing our D-swing. I'm just going to see if I can find somebody in this little city I can shit on really quickly. But we wind up our D-swing, and then what we can do is we can do a full heavy attack, which will then give us 10% more damage on our next attack, which is also a stun. And then we leap on them. And so I already showed you guys that you can make up for a lot of the damage that you're missing with just the flat skill with the off-balance passive, by adjusting your CP. Those two things start to offset each other. On top of that, being able to switch your gear and run 2 damage sets allows you to have more damage. But now on top of that, you get 10% more with the follow-up passive. And so you start to see that, although you don't get that damage on your D-swing, you are going to get that damage. Well, you can, but you also get your damage on your next leap. So you could do a heavy attack D-swing. Your next attack will do 10% more damage. And so you're starting to see that a lot of the damage that you were missing out on that shows up on a micro level with D-swing is being offset by all these other things that are built in passively with the 2H, that are built in passively in our CP tree, that are built in with just the meta of what this new patch is. And so I hope I explained this well. And I have a few clips for you guys, like actual PvP clips of me killing people trying to use this. The biggest issue with all of this, guys, is it's different. It's a change, and some people don't like the change. They've been playing D-swing for 4 years, and they've been D-swing dunking on people for years and deleting health bars, and I totally get that. And now you're gonna have to change stylistically how you play, and so a lot of people are resistant to that. And so I totally get that. I totally get that, how you've been wanting to play. If you've been playing for 4 years and you've been using D-swing and you still want to use D-swing, I totally get why you wouldn't want to go away from how it used to work. I totally get that. But I will say that I think how this functions now is better. I like the medium or heavy attack weave that you could now do with D-swing to stun and put somebody on the ground while also adding potentially 10% more damage on your next direct damage attack. I really, really like that personally. And so that's why I think how it functions now is better. On top of that, guys, I think I talked about this in a previous video. I'm sure none of you guys will remember it. But I had a pretty sweaty 3v3 a while back during the Imperial City campaign. And it was 2 healers and, a DPS. And one of my buddies was on a healer, and then we were on 2 DPSs. And so they were just very tanky. They had a bunch of healing. And my one buddy was running a Stam Sork with a D-Swing build. And I think I was on my Mag DK. I think that's what it was. But we're trying to focus down the healers because you have to take out the healer first, right? And so we're trying to get the healer to like 50% health, and then we're going to drop him to 50% health, and then I'm going to CC him with my Fossilized, and then we're going to ulti dump them and finish them off with a ton of bursts with 2 ultimates. However, the problem with that fight, guys, was my buddy's D-Swing, his spammable was ruining our potential for burst. Because literally off of cooldown, when the person wasn't CC'd anymore, he was CCing him whenever his D-Swing landed through block, when the guy wasn't blocking. And so we couldn't line up our bursts very well because we weren't getting the health to where we wanted to get him when his CC immunity was off. And so that fight lasted 10-15 minutes, guys. Like, it was a very long fight. With this new D-Swing, that fight would have gone a lot shorter of a time because he can just light attack weave. He can just light attack D-Swing, light attack D-Swing. He's now providing off balance to that opponent, which means that me as a Mag DK, I now get 10% more damage as well. And so then all of a sudden, I can stun him, put him on the ground, we can leap on him, and then destroy their health bar, and then we can move on to the next person. And so that's why I think functionally it is now better. And now, obviously, it's going to take some practice because, you have 4 years of muscle memory of D-Swing dunking people, D-Swing, dawn breaking people. It's going to take a long time to get your combinations down with D-Swing, medium attack, D-Swing, heavy attack. Like, it's going to take some practice. But I think people's 1vx clips are going to be better now. I really do. I think once people get it figured out, and I've already seen a few clips of a few people that I know using the new D-Swing and using it with great success. But yeah, those are my thoughts on it. I have a few clips for you guys. If you guys have any questions or comments, please provide it in the section below. I'll do my best to answer it. Thank you for watching, guys. Let's get to the clips.